obviously different than any annual meeting in the past has been, but of course this past year has been a year of many firsts. So we are just delighted to be able to see so many of your faces, and some of you I know see us every Friday night, but we don't necessarily get to see you. So it's lovely to be able to see so many faces all at once. So my guess is maybe at the very end of the meeting, when we close for the day, maybe we'll let everyone unmute just so people can do shout outs to each other. But I think for most of the meeting, we are going to have until Louise needs anything from you. But without further ado, we are going to turn it over to the president of our congregation, Louise Losses, so that she can begin our meeting. Louise, take it away.
I got my sound to work just in time. I'm like, why isn't she starting? The realities of a Zoom annual meeting. So welcome. I am calling our 134th annual meeting of Congregation Temple Israel to order. I've counted over 50 people in the Zoom meeting. And so therefore a quorum is present, and we are in fulfillment of the requirement as outlined in our Constitution and bylaws. The minutes of the 133rd annual meeting are on page 4 of the December deadline, the annual report. And I'd like to ask for a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the 133rd annual meeting and approve them as written. I see Joanne has moved. Can I see a second? Sarah Falkhoff has seconded it. So at the bottom of your Zoom screens, you'll see, I'm going to launch it right now, a poll where you can vote yes, no, or abstain. So if you all would take a moment, if you can find it, and vote to approve the dispensing of the reading of the minutes. And in this way, we will have a record of it. All right. Sharing the results. I realize some of you perhaps have not yet voted, but there you go. 100% approval. Thank you very much. The movement has been moved, seconded, and approved. The motion carries. I'm going to ask for a little bit of benevolence as I move through this, trying to make sure that I can get everything in that I wish to do so. It is my honor and privilege to award citations for religious leadership to our outgoing board members. It has truly been my honor to serve alongside the 5 members of our board who are cycling off this year. Their wisdom, energy, and contributions have made Congregation Temple Israel a better place and has made our board a more effective and representative body. In many ways, they represent what makes our board and our community strong. They have brought a breadth of knowledge from construction to law to finance to academia and so much more. And each has brought a unique perspective to the issues we deal with, and their voices were invaluable. At this time, please join me in honoring these 5 individuals. A certificate will be sent to their homes this week. We extend our gratitude and thanks to Sherry O'Gorman, Drew Olchansky, Karen Sandweiss, Arnie Spiritus, and Susan Tudor. Thank you all. In addition, a special thanks, special thanks to Kathy de la Garza Ortbals. Kathy has served on the executive committee as its secretary for the last 4 years. Kathy is rolling off the executive committee and becoming a member of the Board of Trustees in 2021. Sorry. What I was trying to do was this. Thank you. Kathy's rolling off the executive committee and becoming a member of the full Board of Trustees in 2021. Kathy has been my partner in crime, my touchstone, and most importantly, has become my friend these last 4 years. We will miss her perspective and voice on the EC, but are grateful that she is remaining as a member of the Board of Trustees. I could ask you again to join me in thanking Kathy for her service on the executive committee. We also bid farewell to Joanne Stefan. Joanne is retiring after 13 years at Temple Israel. Joanne plans to spend more time on her other love, that of working with rescue animals and the APA. We wish Joanne the best of luck, and we thank her for all she has given us. Before I begin my president's annual remarks, I want to take a few moments to thank our spirit guides, our past presidents. Hold on one moment. This year, I had intended to inaugurate a past President's Council. The name is still in its nascent stages. Unfortunately, events intervened. Having said that, while it is still my plan to formalize this group, the individuals who have served as presidents of the Board of Trustees need no official group to serve as counselors to the organization. Their presence, wisdom, and historical knowledge is of tremendous value to myself as president, to our rabbis, and to all who work closely with our professional staff and volunteers. I'd like to take a moment and ask that we formally recognize and thank our pantheon of presidents: Ellen Deutsch, Gary Fulman, Neil Handelman, Karen Knopf, Joanne Levy, Rob Litz, Carrie Mogerman, T. Mogerman, Daniel Schwartz, and David Weinstein. It is written in our bylaws, quote, "There shall be held annually on such day and at such place as the Board of Trustees may determine a meeting of the members of the congregation," end quote. Further, the agenda of that annual meeting is outlined, including in this, the President's annual report. Therefore, I now officially and metaphorically stand to give you the President's annual report. In reality, my report to the congregation may be found in the December deadline that was mailed to all homes in late November. I encourage, but more importantly, my mom encourages you to read my report. Instead, in this most difficult of years, I would like to take a few minutes to recognize and highlight the work of many in our leadership, from our volunteers who have striven to make this year a meaningful and effective one, despite the barriers and dangers that the virus has created. A caveat as I begin, this is just a sampling of all that has been done by so many people. There are far more people than I could begin to recognize. Like many of you, I follow Tia on Facebook and receive the weekly emails. Small plug, if you're not already doing so, doing either or both of these, it is a great way to stay in touch and informed of all that is occurring at TI. So I'm going to begin with a thank you to Leslie Wolf and our DECC teachers. In many ways, impacted by the virus, they shut down in early April, or late March actually. They have also been the first to fully open back up. The protocols and procedures put into place has resulted in a successful reopening of our Deutsch Early Childhood Center, and in many ways, they are setting the benchmark for how to do things right. It would be remiss if I didn't mention the beautifully renovated Jack and Ellen Deutsch Education Building and the work of our Facilities Committee under the leadership of David Chasen, our indefatigable Facilities Chair. Many thanks to our religious school teachers and their leader, Leslie Goldenberg. Pivoting to a fully online program required them individually and as a school to reimagine and rethink what religious school education could look like. They have restructured their approach, and students and adults alike are excited for their weekly offerings. In listening to teachers, parents, and kids, I believe many of their innovations will carry over to when we can return to a fully in-person religious school. Many times I have highlighted our finance team, and I do so again, as their quick action resulted in financial security in the form of a PPP loan in early April. The coordinated work of board members, committee members, congregants, professional staff, and vendors was and is a fabulous display of communication, relationships, and trust. Kim, Rachel, Mike, Debbie, Alan, Brad, Kathy, and Joanne did the work of the angels on this one, and we are in their debt. To our professional staff, Debbie Jennings, who assisted pretty much everyone, but who also created Shabbat to Go, a fun and fantastic way to bring TI Shabbat and her delicious food into our homes. Having just partaken of my Hanukkah meal, I can attest to the deliciousness of our offerings. Our communications team, Aaron and Sam, their work has become central to our existence as we rely on them to ensure our message gets across and is heard. To Derek and his team, ensuring our buildings are clean and safe, as well as ensuring our technology links work and we can see Shabbat every Friday. Martina and Lisa, who stepped in and stepped up, taking on countless tasks that at the beginning of the year we didn't even know we needed. And so many others who, despite all challenges, ensured the smooth running of our building and our organization in these trying times. To our volunteers, Mark Bernacki and Melissa Sussman, who along with our professional team reconceptualized our Thanksgiving meal and made sure that the families in need still had a Thanksgiving to remember. Our Monroe school team, making sure our partnership continued and evolved, knowing that more than ever, these families needed and need us. This summer, a group of committed and motivated congregants came together to create TI's Social Justice and Equity Group. Under the leadership of Darcy Scharf and Christopher Pham, this group has already created learning opportunities and are committed to finding ways to make an impact both on Congregation Temple Israel as well as the communities we live in. To all those who made phone calls and checked in on each other, who hosted onegs and coffee times, to all the volunteers who have helped deliver, pack, and do the things, large and small, that may be done in a safe manner to ensure that Temple Israel remains connected and vibrant. Finally, our rabbis, who came into our homes every Shabbat, who created a virtual High Holy Days, book clubs, pop-up classes, and so much more. The work of our rabbis didn't stop because of the virus, but a whole new level of need arose. I thank you for your leadership, your commitment, and your ingenuity. I would be remiss if I didn't thank our Board of Trustees and our Executive Committee. In March, we pivoted to online meetings, and by April, there were more of them than they certainly signed up for. But they've been there, committed, focused, and willing to step in and step up at every crossroads. My thanks to each of you for your support and dedication. The most common question or comment I have received has been, wow, I bet this isn't what you signed up for. But in reality, it is. I signed up to work with amazing people, to work alongside people I respect and care for, and to help Congregation Temple Israel to be the best it can be. This year has been a challenge to us all, personally, professionally, spiritually, and together we are seeing it through. As I said in my report in the December Dateline, in many ways, the space of Temple Israel has been expanded, and wherever and however we gather, we form our place. Temple Israel exists in our homes and our hearts. Wherever we are, whenever we are in our sanctuary or online, we communally are Temple Israel. So at this time, it is my honor to turn over the platform to the chair of our nominating committee and our immediate past president, Rob Litz.
Louise, thank you. And Louise, thank you for your leadership and your dedication during this year. Wasn't exactly what I maybe described when we met a couple of years ago, looking at the future, but you've been outstanding.
Thank you, sir.
I wish everyone a happy Hanukkah and welcome to our annual meeting. First, I want to thank the members of our nominating committee. This includes the members of our, as well as past presidents of the congregation. We met virtually and came up with just an outstanding group of future leaders to join our board and become members of our executive team. And I don't know whether, Rachel, were you going to put up the slides that describe the executive committee and then the members of our...
I have it, Rob.
Do you? Okay. So our executive committee is going to look a little bit different, and this is a testament to those in the congregation and how we have continued to add leadership to our leadership pipeline. So this year, the nominating committee has the slate of officers to include Louise Lassus as president, Vice President of Facilities, David Chasen, Neil Margulis, Vice President, Social Action and Membership, Jeremy Shook, Vice President, Legal and Human Resources, Mike Weiss, Vice President, Operations, Sarah Falkoff joining as Vice President of Education, Brad Arst as Treasurer, Alan Epstein, Assistant Treasurer. We're welcoming Julie Folman as Secretary. We're welcoming Amy Knobloch-Hahn as Assistant Secretary. We're welcoming Jeff Brown as Member at Large, and welcoming back Joanne Levy as Member at Large of our Executive Committee. Next, as our trustees, we have them broken down in a couple of different buckets. First, we have incoming trustees joining us for a first 3-year term. We welcome Jenny Ableys, Benji Kazauer, Brian Newman, Diane Fadum Packman, and Rachel Protzel. We're also welcoming back Kathy Delagorza Artballs for a 2-year term, and also welcoming back to the board Rob Epstein. I also want to thank and welcome again the 6 who are going to re-up for a second 3-year term: Liz Buckman, Ed Goldberg, Matt Myers, Amanda Rudman, Steve Rosenblum, and Jeffrey Stern. these are outstanding leaders, and we're going to see how their dedication translates to being active members of our board as we go forward. At this time, I would entertain a motion of those with us today to approve this slate of new members of the Board of Trustees and members of our executive committee and officers. And Louise, we're going to need to,
So moved, Rob.
thank you. Jeffrey, do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. If everyone would vote on the poll on our screen, we'll move forward with our voting. The motion has been approved. I thank everyone, and I look forward to serving with the returning members of the board and our new board members. Several of our new board members came through our leadership development class early this year, and we look forward to their contributions to our board. Louise, thank you very much. And again, thank you for your leadership. You're muted.
Should go in the minutes. At this time, I call on Rabbi Amy for the formal installation of the board.
So this, of course, is a tradition that is a little bit more difficult to do when we are virtual. But this is a moment where we just like to be able to acknowledge the task that each of you is taking on. Louise began by acknowledging that this year is perhaps not the year of leadership that she expected, but in some ways it is the same, it's just more. And so for those of you who are either joining the board for the first time or who are re-upping, we know that it's the same. We know that this is going to be a year where perhaps more than ever before in our congregation's history, we are going to rely on your leadership. You to be the voice of our members when we know that people are in need. We are going to be coming to you to serve as volunteers when we need an extra hand. And my friends, this year now more than ever, we are going to need those extra hands. We are going to be coming to you as in this new year, we engage in our strategic plan that we know is going to be able to help bring us into this next generation. As rabbis, we are proud to be able to serve as the spiritual leaders of the congregation, but you are the ones who are able to help us really implement the important holy work that we need to do here. And so we offer you a blessing that we say at our most sacred occasions. May this be just the first of many times that we will be able to say this blessing with you together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'hegianu la'azman hazeh.
God, we thank you for having given us life, for having sustained us, and for having enabled us to reach this season. And then, even if we can't hear you, how about if we can all watch your mouths say amen? Amen.
Amen.
Beautiful. Welcome, everyone. We're so glad to have you on board.
So, world's fastest annual meeting. I am looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Jeffrey. I'm looking for a second.
Second.
I see Jan has seconded. All in favor, please vote. All right. Moved and seconded. Meeting's adjourned.
Thank
all
you.
very much. Happy Hanukkah. Happy New Year. Be safe. See you all in 2021.
Happy Hanukkah, everyone.
Happy Hanukkah.
Hanukkah.
Well.
We miss you.
Well,
Miss seeing everyone in person.
Yes. Stay healthy.